let's talk about whether or not the Cowboys have a shot at the playoffs this upcoming season. All right. I said they're the best in the East. Well, what about the rest of the teams in the divisions? In the NFC, period. Okay? Who's going to take the divisions? Who's going to get wild card spots? Well, I've already talked about the East, and I believe the Cowboys definitely got that without any question. Let's go to the West, where you have a very interesting division with the Seahawks, the Niners, the Rams, the Cardinals. I think the Rams are kind of, in my opinion, they're on the downgrade. I mean, they just lost Gurley. I don't think that they have, they're losing too much right now. I think their window has closed behind them. They had that window to make the Super Bowl, but I think they kind of wasted it. I still think the Niners win that division, but I think it'll be very, very close with the Seahawks and the Cardinals. My goodness. The Cardinals are on an upgrade as well. Kyler Murray moving into his second year. Looked really good last season as a rookie. Now he's got DeAndre Hopkins to go with him. Whoo-wee, what an offense. That'll be interesting with Kenyon Drake and the rest of them. They might need a little bit of help on defense, though. I don't think they're well-rounded enough to compete with Seattle and San Francisco. So, in that division, I've got San Francisco, and then the Seahawks, then the Cardinals, and then the Rams. Yes, I got the Rams. Bottom feeding in the NFC West. That's my hot take of this division. Moving back to the East, as I just got done talking about, I solely believe the Cowboys have this without any kind of problems. The Eagles, talent-wise, with Wentz, as long as he's healthy, should take the second spot. Should. But the Giants have a chance. I think they did well in the draft. I think as long as Daniel Jones can increase himself, get a little bit more reliable handling the football, not fumbling it so much. I think he had like 17 fumbles last year or something like that. It was outrageous amount. They just need to protect him better, and they went out and they did a few moves in order to help do that. Obviously, Saquon Barkley. The defense needs a little bit of help, but they definitely got the third spot in the East by and far, and the Washington Redskins. Dwayne Haskins is going to have to show something. That or Smith has to come back from that nasty broken leg and come back and like perform a miracle and play football again, let alone play well. Because Alex is a good quarterback. I don't think Haskins has it in him to continue being a starter in the NFL right now. I think he still needs a little bit more time to acclimate himself. So I got them at the bottom. Now let's move to the North, where we got Chicago, the Lions, Green Bay, and the Vikings. This is an interesting division because it's very tough. It's kind of a really tight division. It's the hard from top to bottom. It is the hardest division to get a handhold on. The Bears have a great defense. Their offense is limited by their quarterback between Trubisky and Foles. Who wins? Who knows? But I still say Green Bay, even though they didn't address the wide receiver position last year, they still ended up they still ended up winning the division last year. I think they have the same shot at winning division this year. They just got to continue on that same path that they had. I actually have the Lions coming up number 2 in this division. That's my hot take for this division. Matthew Stafford, if he can stay healthy, they went out and they got him some help finally. The Lions have. Patricia. Stafford Matthew Stafford is easily the most underrated quarterback in the entire NFL. He's a great quarterback. He's not elite, but he's right underneath that elite in my opinion. It's just he's never had help. Whenever they give him help, they end up leaving and not able to keep him. They never given him offensive line. When they get him decent receivers, they end up retiring early, like Calvin Johnson, because he was sick of how the Lions were being built. Tate was a decent receiver. Lost him. The Lions have a shot this year. They've got a decent setup. I think they have a chance. I think they barely edge out the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears come in third. Oh, there's a lot of Vikings fans right now that are probably chewing me up left and right. And I'll get to them in a minute. But the reason I think the Bears come in third is flat out. They have a top 5 defense in the NFL. Top 5. No questions asked. And if either Trubisky or Foles, whoever wins that starting position, if they could just play good enough to put some points on the board, even if they averaged 17 points a game, which is really low in the NFL, if they could average 17 points in a game, they could easily be an 8-18. Because this defense is good enough to average less than that per game for the season. You're still here? Awesome! Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, please smash that like button and hit subscribe. That way, you're known when I come up with a new video here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I plan on going live starting this Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Conversations, man. You want to know what we're going to have that conversations for? Right down here where it says Twitter. Type that into your web browser. Give me a follow. Everything that I talk about, anything that I am getting ready to post, any kind of video that I'm getting ready to stream or upload, you'll find out when I type that right out there on Twitter, man. Don't forget sportscaster.com. That's my actual job. That's where I work, right? I am Sportscaster NFL News. Me, Joe Nubo, Ray Rout, we discuss all sorts of stuff NFL news related every day. So don't forget, I appreciate you watching me here, but you can get a lot more information in these little links here. Don't forget, check out the description below, because at the very bottom of that description is where you can support my channel and help ensure that my content continues to be uploaded and broadcasted to you so that you know exactly what's going on in the NFL. Now let's get back to the video. I have no question. Now, he's like, what about the Vikings? Well, Cousins, in my opinion, is, I don't know. I can't really say he's overrated anymore, because most people think that he, outside of Minnesota, think that he's a high-end game manager, which is what he is. But they don't have Diggs anymore. Yes, they replaced him with Jefferson in the draft, but Jefferson is one of those receivers where he's good at everything, but does not excel at anything. And in today's NFL, you have to excel in something to stand out and become a star. You could have weak points in your game, but if you are really, really good at something, that allows you to stand out and make splash plays. Like DeAndre Hopkins, his speed is not very good. He is not the best deep threat in the NFL, but my goodness, he's one of the best at 50-50. I mean, his catch percentage is outstanding. You just throw him the ball, close your eyes, throw the ball in his general direction, he'll come down with it. Julio Jones. Julio Jones is a monster. But he doesn't have quickness in and out of his breaks. Not like a lot of your smaller receivers. But he's got the hands, and he's got the size. And he's got straight line speed. Talk about Hill and T.Y. Hilton, right? Both those receivers, their weakness is their size. They're small. They're like 5'10", $180, $190. But my goodness, they have great speed, great route running, and good hands. And because of that, they're able to find open spots in a defense to make splash plays. Now, Jefferson, he's just good at everything, but does not excel at anything, so I don't know. He's very much, in my opinion, like another Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen was able to be exceptional because he had Diggs with him who could take a top off a defense. So people had to drop a safety over the top of Diggs, which allowed one-on-ones. With Jefferson, you're not going to have that. Jefferson does not have that straight line speed like Diggs does. He's got good speed, but not great speed. And let's not even talk about Dalvin Cook, who wants Christian McCaffrey money to play this season. He says he'll sit out if he does not get Christian McCaffrey type money. And he doesn't even deserve Christian McCaffrey type money. Can he do some of the similar things as Chris? Yes. He can run the football. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's very similar. But he's not used like Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey averages 450 touches a game. Christian McCaffrey has stayed healthy his entire NFL career. None of those things can be said about Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook needs to prove that he deserves it. And he hasn't deserved it. And the Minnesota Vikings would be laughable, in my opinion, if they paid him that money. Which means they're not going to pay him. Which means we're going to see a Melvin Gordon type situation most likely. Where the first 4, 5, 6 weeks of the year he'll probably sit out. And if he does, that's going to hurt their run game big time. Which means the Vikings could actually start out 1-5. Maybe 2-3. That's going to put them in a massive hole at the beginning of the year. And if he sits out the entire year, that's going to hurt him even more. That's why I have the Minnesota Vikings sitting dead last. Because I honestly expect Cook to sit out. He may not sit out the entire season, kind of like the way Gordon did. You know, realizing, hey, I really shouldn't sit out an entire season because that's not going to look good on me when I want to get traded because they're not going to pay me. Or when I want, signing contract extensions when my rookie contract is up with other teams. Now, let's move on to the South. So far, I have San Francisco, Dallas, and Green Bay winning their divisions. The South is a tough one. The Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, the Bucks. There are a lot of people out there that think that the Buccaneers are going to win this division over the Saints. Do you honestly believe that Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, in the twilight of their careers, is going to increase the Buccaneers so much that they're going to overcome the Saints? So many people think that Drew Brees either isn't going to start or the players ain't going to play for him because of the statements he made. You don't understand. This is a workplace. This is the NFL. These guys are playing for their money. They're playing for wins. They know Drew Brees is their best shot at winning in this division. They're going to play hard for him. Drew Brees will start. They still will play very tough. Michael Thomas already came out and says, hey, I've forgiven him. After he had a sit-down talk with the team after his comments about the kneeling. I expect Drew Brees to play. I expect this entire team to play hard for him. With that being said, they're still the best team in this division. Yes, even over Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady does not have the offensive coordinator that he had with New England. Bruce Arians is not Bill Belichick. Bruce Arians is a down-the-field type pass coordinator and coach, which is one of the reasons why Jameis Winston had so many interceptions and so many yards and touchdowns, mind you. Tom Brady, right now in his NFL career, is a game-managing quarterback on a team that wants to do explosive plays and is built to do explosive plays. He doesn't match the team's personality. I expect Tom Brady to want to throw the football less than 20 yards. I expect him to throw less than 15 yards on darn near every down. I think he'll be one of the NFL players, quarterbacks, that will throw the football 30 or more yards in air yards, the least in the NFL, on a team that has Godwin and Evans. Tom Brady's arm's not there to do that. He's going to throw a lot of checkdowns. He's going to take sacks. He's going to throw the football away. He's not going to take hits. He doesn't have the offensive line that he had in front of him at New England. There's a lot of things you got to put in consideration. I love Gronkowski. I do. I think because he sat out a year, I think Gronk will come out strong. Now, how long he'll look strong is depending upon whether or not his body will be able to hold on. Because, I mean, we all know that you can flip a coin every game. And if it comes up heads, he's getting hurt. But I think he'll come out strong. Tom Brady, being at his age, he could come out fairly strong as well. But he's got to get his connection with his receivers. If he can get the connection with his receivers, get them on the same page, then I think he can possibly come out strong. But at his age, just like Gronkowski, I think he's going to wane in the later part of the season. Because his arm is not going to have that strength anymore. He's not going to be able to throw zip passes. He's going to be tired and sore. I think Tampa Bay is one of those teams, honestly. My guy Ray Rout thinks that the Buccaneers could start off really nasty, like 1-4 or 2-3, and then, finish out strong. I think there's a possibility you could see a flip where they could start out 4-1 and end up losing 4 out of their last 6 at the end of the season. Just because Gronkowski and Brady, they have problems for 2 different reasons finishing an entire season. Was the problem in New England's passing game last season? Was it because of the wide receivers? Or was it because of Tom Brady? I'm going to put the money on Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady's done more with less in New England at the wide receiver position in his past. So I got the Saints number 1, the Buccaneers number 2. I love Christian McCaffrey, as I said, and I think Christian McCaffrey has an outsized shot at making the MVP this year because of what he can do as a one-man show. But I have no faith in Teddy Bridgewater, and so that means I put the Atlanta Falcons at number 3 in this division. That's right. I got the Panthers dead last. I have no faith in Teddy Bridgewater. None. I think he'll be an effective quarterback, but he's not as good as Cam Newton. And Cam Newton had problems in the last few years getting their team past this, upwards around the Saints. I think the Falcons actually got themselves even better this past offseason, so I think that they will hit that number 3 spot as opposed to the Panthers being sitting there at number 3. I think the Panthers will be at number 4. So we have our division winners. We have Green Bay, we have the Saints, we have the Cowboys, and we have the Niners. That's 4. We get 3 wildcard teams. 3. Out of who's left, who makes it? Well, I'm putting the Seahawks in there just because they always make the playoffs. I think they're very solid when you have a team like they have. I think that they're just very, very good. You never can count Russell Wilson out, I think. Let's see who's next on this list. 1 second. So I got 2 more after the Seahawks. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Bucs in there as a wild card team. Even though I think they'll start to fail near the end, I think they still win enough in the first half of the season in order to make the wild card. Which leaves me with, since I got the Lions being number 2 and the Eagles being number 2, that's going to be an interesting question. I would get chewed out if I was told that the Eagles would get beat out of the playoffs by the Lions. Chewed out. But I've got the Lions as my Cinderella team this year. I think Matt Stafford ends up just throwing the ball all over the place. I think Stafford has a great season this year. I think they'll be the Cinderella team of the NFL. And there you have it. I don't even have the Eagles making the playoffs. I don't have the Vikings making the playoffs. That's right. No Rams in the playoffs. Green Bay, Lions, the Saints, Tampa Bay, Dallas, San Francisco, Seattle Seahawks. Thank you for joining this stream. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen with Sportscaster News. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.